So Frankie Dettori happened, 4 years, you paid everyone back, and then of course you have to carry on with your career. And you got involved in lots of other sports, which has actually been very fun, albeit a learning curve for you along the way.
Yeah, I've always been one to come up with the odds for different things, and like spinning the coin, like, you know, if you can lay 10 to 11 both of them, you've got a chance. But yeah, I've got involved in all sport. Fishermania, that was good. Barry Earns Fishermania, I got involved in that. We've done that. I was here last Saturday, if I remember, the 12th year I've done it for Fishermania. Do the odds. Done the snooker betting. What else have I done for snooker?
Burley Horse Show?
Burley, yeah, I was the first.
You didn't have a clue what you were betting on?
Never had a clue for Burley, no. I was representing the tote there one day, and on the final day there was an horse. It was 22 years of age on the show jumping, and it couldn't win. It had a funny name on it, and I put up 66 to 1. Anyway, everyone had their fivers and tenors on it. I think I stood it for about 35,000 if it would have won. But anyway, I had to ring the office up. We don't want this. Well, why have you done this? What? It never won, but you can imagine. Yeah, I've done everything.
So how did you find out what to lay?
Well, you always read the card and try to find out which ones are the favourites and which ones what. Someone marked my card. I can't think. I think it was a Free Barrel name who helped me as well.
It sounds quite risky bookmaking.
Of course, it's risky. John McCourt, the great John McCourt, he said to me once when I was on Channel 4 the morning night. He said, "Are you a bookmaker? Are you a gambler?" Well, I said, "John, all bookies are gamblers." And that is that we've got it in our blood. All bookmakers are gamblers. Well, we used to be till now. When you go to the racetrack, you see the people, they never lose. So I think there's a lot of people who are not gamblers. Yeah, you know, in them days we're all gamblers.
How many pitches did you have when Tote bought them all?
I think I had about 70, and I think only about 5 of them was any good. But they bought them all to 70, and I was with a Tote for the last 5 years. In fact, I would have still been with them now. Well, it's Betfred now. But unfortunately, or fortunately, the BBC offered me a job as their betting presenter with John Power, and I couldn't keep both jobs on, so I couldn't work for the Tote and be a bookmaker and then work for the BBC. So I chose the BBC life, and I did enjoy it, funny enough. And when I left the BBC, bearing in mind I was 37 stone at that age, you know, at that time. And it was too much for me. You know, I'd done Royal Ascot one year, took the top hat and tails off. When you took your coat off, all buckets of water was coming out of you. And I had to give in but I never told them the truth at the BBC. I said, it's the travelling that's getting me down, which everyone does. When you get a book who's doing their money, that's I'm not going there no more, it's the travelling. And the actual director of the BBC said, no one ever leaves us. But I did keep the Sky job on. I kept the Sky because that was only at night, and I always had my driver loft. He used to take me everywhere. But that was hard, you know, when I left the BBC. But as I said, Frankie, I would never have got the BBC job. I'd have never been on Sky Sports if it weren't for Frankie. So really, and people who come up to me now, you know, I was at Stratford yesterday, can I have a selfie with? I said, you're joking. 20 odd years ago, when I got on holiday, people would say, oh, well, how's Frankie? And it's just unbelievable, you know, it's just, and my youngest son, Charlie, had a baby last year. And you know what, I've got to tell you what he called it. He called it Frankie. He said, you'll never forget this one, will you, Dad? You know, so, you know, but that's why Frankie's a major part of my life, Jules.
Yeah. At that stage when you got the BBC job and, you know, fantastic days working for them, and you were doing Sky Greyhounds, we had some great times as well. You must have been really enjoying your career at that point. I bet you've got tremendous stories.
I was enjoying my life as well, and my own life as well was fantastic. And it was just lovely, you know. We was going to Newcastle one Tuesday, the following Tuesday was at Romford. I used to have people coming up to me at Romford giving us a great big bowl of jellied eels and say, okay, I bought you them in Southend. And then when we went up north, you got other things. It was Shorefield when we done the Scottish Derby. Fantastic, Julie. You know,
but you're such a natural TV person as well. You must miss it.
I just think I do, Julie. I miss it. Of course, I miss it. But when you say natural TV person, what you see with me now, you got me 24/7. You know, I'm not one of these to get home at night if I've done my money and sit there and cry. But you just got to be yourself, haven't you? You know, and then people love you for what you are. That is the difference, you know. People do love you for what you are. And
would you do TV again if you got the call?
Of course I would do it. Anyone in the country would want to do it, would they? But I don't think they'd want any. I'm only 24 stone now, so I'm 13 stone lighter now. But who's going to? You know, I'm an has-been now, and I'm too old for the game. And I really am. I too old? I don't know for the game. All I do is speak the truth. I know more about odds. You can put odds on the board, and I'll tell you what the percentages are. That is my game, and that is what a betting person should do. When they price up a board, you should say the same. Not having to go at you, but when you do Racing Post TV, when you see the odds come up 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 4 to 1, you should say, oh, them bookies have got to give us a bigger price now. And when you ask for it, they will give you the bigger price, because when I was brought up, I'll never forget Dave Lawrence, who was the producer on Sky Grounds, he said to me, whatever you do, don't do anything bad to the bookies. Be nice to them, because without the bookies, we're not in the betting ring, and that is the way to be. Be nice to everyone, and that in the long run, Julie, they might be nice to you. Might be.
It's definitely been a career of highs and lows, though. We've mentioned the Frank Dettori one, but...
Well, there's going to be a film on it. They wanted to do a film. They wanted to put Ray Winston playing me.
You should play yourself.
I don't know about that.
But anyway, there was another incident that actually sort of cost you more dearly, in a way, than Frankie Dettori. Certainly from an emotional point of view. It upset you more than what happened with Frankie Dettori. Tell us about...
What was this? What
the incident at Central Park, and how you ended up coming out of the dog racing.
One day, it was the 27th of December, I'll never forget. And I went in a local betting shop in Colton Hill in Nottingham, a Ladbrokes, done me money. I think I'd done about £1,700 in there that day. So the following day was a Saturday. I was doing the race. I was doing the Betfred TV in the morning, and I come back home, and a pal of mine rang me up, and he said, "How you been going, Gal, over Christmas?" I said, "Oh, it's terrible. I've done me money Boxing Day, done me money yesterday." He said, "I fancy some little." He said, "There's some forecasts tonight." He said, "Leaders, some finishers," which I've always done, which is in the book. If I have a forecast, I have a dog to lead and a dog to come second who's got to come from the back. Because if you have a forecast 2 early pace dogs, whoever don't lead at the first bend is not going to win the race. So that's the way I've always played, leaders and finishers. And that day I had some forecast doubles, and luckily enough I had 3 up out of 6. So I had 3 different meetings, Newcastle, Monmore and Central Park, and I got 3 up out of 6 to forecast. It come to, I think I had £2 forecast doubles, and it comes to about £8 grand. So I put them on 2 different slips, because although I went in the Ladbrokes at it, you get a bonus if you actually win if they all win, which they never all won. Anyway, on the following day, I went to a point on the Sunday at Cottenham in Cambridge. I asked Nicky, my son, to go and draw one of the tickets, because I was going away on the following day. We was going to Tenerife for a week, me and Lofty. And he drew the money, and he said, the lady said, "Do you want to draw the other bet as well?" And I said, "No, leave the other one. Wait till I come back from holiday. I do know it'll be January. I'll be skint. It'll be nice to, you got £4 grand to come back." And sweet as a nut, got the £4 grand. They paid me, left the other one. On the Monday morning, I got a phone call saying that you better come back. There's been a big coup for me, like what I've done. I said, "What have I done?" "Well, you're involved in this." But what did they call it? A betting, everyone won millions or whatever. Anyway, I come back on the Sunday night. I was at the snooker for the Masters at Alexandra Palace. Got a phone call from the Racing Post chief, Graham, right, and said, "What I've got to do, what happened." Told them the actual truth, what it was, what I'm telling you now. Had some £2 forecast double, leaders and finishers, whatever. On the following day, when I read the paper on the Monday, it said that I was the leader of a gang of punters who put the bet on in Nottingham, which was complete lies, absolute complete lies. And it said at the bottom, I should imagine he could lose, his job with Sky will be in jeopardy, which was absolute ridiculous. I haven't done nothing wrong. Anyway, I rung up George Irvin, I think at the time, who was like, "Don't worry, Gal, as soon as you get there, I can't put you on the telly this week until it's all clear." "Yeah, no problem, George. I know it's going to be all clear." Ladbrokes, it was £8.5 grand, I think they paid me. They paid up after about 5 or 6 days, no problem with the bets or nothing. Everyone else trying to get involved, saying I was the leader and all like that, which was absolute rubbish, Julie. The thing is, if you're going to do anything wrong, you wouldn't go and put the bet on yourself, which I did, because I had no worries. They never moaned the day before when I done £1,700 in there. That was nothing. And then after that, and then the Sky job dried up, and my head, I just couldn't go out anymore. We got a greenhouse where we live in. I lived near Milton Mowbray in a little village, and honestly I was getting up every day. I never wanted to be a bookie, never wanted to go horse racing, just sat there for nearly a year. And that's why I just completely give up everything, no bookmaking for that year. And I thought, they can't do this to me, because I've done nothing wrong. And in the end it went to my head, and then I went to try and buy a car off for NottinghamCar.com, I'll never forget, and he said, "The man, I'm not going to serve you with a car, but please go and see this fella, because I know you've got problems." And he gave me a little card, and I went to see an head psychiatrist or whatever, old chap. Went round his house, and I sat there with him on a leather 3-piece, I'll never forget, and he said to me, "Go back out there, you're a bookmaker, you've done nothing wrong, go back out there. And the following day I went to Worcester, and everyone looked at me. They thought what you just said to me, that when we first started this, where have you been for 5 years? And I just come back that day, and it was the first day back, and I thought, yeah, but if it wasn't for him, I suppose I would have still been in that greenhouse. My head just completely went, Julie. Well, people can get you, like where you said Dettori Day, you've done all your money, done your life. I got over that. But when you've got a person who thought you was his friend, and to write absolute things about you that never happened, and you know, I still see that person there, and all he does is turn his head and duck you because they don't want to know you.
You're quite a moral person, aren't you? You have strong morals when it comes to paying up bets, even when there's been mistakes over the years.
Julie, I've got more morals than ever. You know, maybe I shouldn't have so much more, but that was the day that hurt. And you see the people now still walking about round, and they're you know, and you think to yourself, you know, look, you just got to get it out your head. But them sort of people are still around, unfortunately, and you know, to put things. By the way, I've got a full page, exactly the apology in the Racing Post, what happened. So that tells you, doesn't it, what happened, you know. But I think I won £8 up with that book, and I think it cost me 10 grand to get a lawyer, solicitor onto the case, because there's no way, I was born Gary Wilkes, there's no way they're going to say I'm a villain when I'm not a villain. And, you know, I wouldn't stand for it. And I won't stand for it now, you know, and but them days are over now. Are they over? I don't know. You're looking at 20 odd years, no, I don't know, that's 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
What twists and turns more will there be in your lives? But for now,
until they carry me out in a box, Julie, I do not know what's coming around the corner.
For now, you're back bookmaking, though. You're bookmaking for yourself.
Yeah, been back now for about 3 years now, bookmaking. Yeah, got pictures at Cheltenham, Ascot, and what gets me is that I'm a good enough bookie to bet at Cheltenham and Royal Ascot and other places, and I bet, you know, people like you, they come and bet with you. You know you ain't gonna, you know, I don't want the world now, I just want a normal life, you know, just live a normal life, and you know, appreciate every day we wake up.
Are you enjoying it now, though?
I am enjoying it. Yeah, I've been through a lot of, you know, many of people I think would have run away. You know, many of people. But Saturday I was at Market Raise, and Saturday, last Thursday and Friday I was at Hamilton in Scotland. And the people that we've done Hamilton on Thursday, and people saying, oh, I remember when you used to come and do the betting. Billy King, who owns Shawfield, you know, he's the governor of Shawfield, William King, and his son was there. He's a bookie young. But hello, Gary, lovely to see you. And it is nice, you know, where people still respect you for what you are, and for not what, you know. It's lovely, Julie, honestly, to see and Scotland. You know, I love the punters in Scotland. Well, it's like when we go to Ireland as well. We do the dancing. I love it.
There's two men in your career who I know you want to pay credit to that have been a big influence on you. Yeah,
Barry Hearn has been a real, well, we all know King Vazza. He's been loyal to me, and I'll do the betting on the darts. As soon as they've not got a big sponsor like William Hill or Ladbrokes or Coles, if it's not them, I'll stand in. We've done the Premier League this year. Barry Hearn's been really good. And the man that saved my life, Fred Doan, founder of Betfair, the governor of Betfair. When I was
Betfred.
Did I say Betfair? I should have said Betfair. No, I'll take that all the way with Betfred. And what he done, Fred, he was well. I was 37 stone. I was in hospital, Solihull Hospital, dying with. I had everything wrong with me, diabetes, everything, getting bigger by the day. And he asked Nicky, my boy Fred, he said, how's your dad? And he said, no. And all of a sudden, I'll never forget, I was in the hospital, and the nurse come in with a sister, and she said, you're being moved to Parkway Private Hospital at 6 o'clock. And I said, well, what am I doing there? And she said, you're having an operation tomorrow, you're having a gastric band, not the, no, I had the sleeve, the bigger one, not the band. And I said, well, I can't. It was 10 grand, and Fred paid for it all for me. And he saved my life, and people moan about it. But if it weren't for Fred Doan, unfortunately, Fred lost his wife Mo last year. And we bought a little greyhound, called it Mo 21, you know, after Mo and that. But them two people out the game, you know, it's surprising, Julie, how many people lose your number. You lose your phone number, you know what I mean? So very, very surprising. When you're up high, they all want you. When you're down, no one wants it. No one wants you at all. And that's how, unfortunately, that's how this life is, isn't it?
We've got more stories to come, but they are endless. We could stay here all day. If people want to know more, you've got a new book out.
Yeah, I've got a new book out called Angels, Tears and Sinners. So I don't know if you can see it, Gary Wiltshire, and it's even Harry Redknapp's put at the bottom. If there was a king of the betting jungle, Gal will be odds-on favourite from the king of the jungle, Harry Redknapp. So, you know, it's lovely to see that people still want you. It's just, as what you said, they still want you. You know, it's like the TV work. It's getting you on ITV on that Friday. Who'd have thought they'd have wanted, but who did they want? What bookies they want to find? There was millions of bookies left there, and they dug me out. So maybe you never know what's around that corner, Julie.